Okay, it's the next day, and I'm going to finish this video on this. And I am going to put this up on YouTube because, I don't know, maybe after I go through all these browsers up here, and I try and explain what I'm trying to do here, maybe we can figure out what I'm trying to do here. So in the meantime, it is March 25th, okay, 2022. Now, there is this woman that used to be up in the Florida area, and her name is, oh God, real comedian Latrese Allen. Okay. Now, this individual, back in the day, when she was, you know, being a content creator, I guess you could say, right? She, here, let me put it on myself first. Okay. We'll just give a little background story on this. She used to do, like, skits on YouTube. And she'd involve her kids as props to participate in the skit. Okay. Now, you have to remember, this individual comes from the inner city, more than one, right? In terms of she has game, like within the inner cities of the United States of America. Okay, so, right? You're like a hustler. Okay, she kind of grew up that way just because of her environment. Okay, I can relate to that. So, anyway, you know, I found her to be really inspirational, okay? Because we know I've been working on a nonprofit for, what, 22 years? It's 22 now, right? And, you know, back in the day, even before I ever heard of this woman, you know, I wrote to the NAACP in New Orleans. I wrote to Jesse Jackson, Frederica Wilson. She's a senator. I can't remember from what state she's from. I did the mayor of New Orleans. I did Governor Rick Perry. We did Obama. Who else did we do? There was a whole bunch of them anyway. And I'm sending all the information, right? Thick envelopes, people, okay? You know, right? Okay? And I'm, you know, and an Islamic congregation, and freaking, what's his name? Al Sharpton, and just the whole 9 yards, right? And I spent money, you know? A poor woman in Canada. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, people. I don't know. Other than, anyway, it's not important what I was thinking. The point is by the time I got to Latrese, I had already been through a whole bunch of politicians in terms of the information that she got from me was the exact same information that all those other people that I had put things in the mail for, right? And I even went as far as provide gifts for some of these individuals, like Governor Rick Perry. Like he got a tank top, right? He got a Métis sash with a bunch of pins on them. I went off and I got him a Ukrainian Easter egg, right? Put that in there, and it just, you know, whatever, right? Because at that time, how he came into the picture was there was a young man in Texas that was on death row for being in the car when somebody ran into some house, killed somebody, ran back out onto the car, and then they ended up getting caught. And even though he didn't go in the house and kill somebody, he was still put on death row. So it was a big kerfuffle because his time was up and people felt it was unfair. So of course I'm, you know, involved by just third party through internet, and I wanted Governor Rick Perry to take serious his decision to put a stay on the execution, knowing that Canadians were watching him. And not only were Canadians watching him, but that Canadians wanted to be a part of the solution to the issues that face all our communities, people. That's why when you go into my videos and you see me out and about in the hood, in my neighborhood, maybe it's not a comparison to the inner cities of the United States of America, but a hood is a hood. Okay? And I was proactive. Not only was I proactive with the paperwork people and contacting the right kind of people, the movers and shakers of the United States of America when it comes to those political heavyweights. Political heavyweights. Governor Rick Perry, he was the Minister of Energy under the Trump administration. He was the Minister of Energy, people, of the federal government. That is a powerhouse, okay? Barack Obama, when I sent my information that Latrese Allen got, you see, that's my beef, okay, people? Not that I'm trying to beef here, but, okay. So anyway, I had to send it two times to Obama because they wanted to make sure that they got it, right? Because the first one kind of got shuffled along. So I had to send it to his senator office because he was only a senator at the time. Next thing I know, he becomes a president. And I'm like, wow, that's a good one to have in your back pocket, right? When the shit hits the fan, when people start rising for all the right reasons, you definitely want an advocate like that on your side, promoting whatever it is good that you're trying to promote. That's my mindset, living in fucking la-la land here, out of touch with reality. When my son says, oh, Mom, I think sometimes you're just out of touch with reality, I look back after 22 years and I wonder if I've been out of touch with reality all this time. Okay, so whatever. But in those days, when Latrese was coming onto the scene, right? You know, I was still in that la-la land, people. I was still in that let's go mode, right? You know, nothing's going to stop us. We're going to move mountains. That's where I was when I put the same envelope with all that information that came from my heart and soul, people. And I dug deep in my pocket to spread it out into the community so people could have a light and not feel so dark and alone. And they could migrate to the light and come together and uprise together to empower communities. Okay? And this Latrese Allen, I don't know, with her personality, you know, she I don't want to say motivated me, but I guess you could say she motivated me enough so that when she was going on talking about, what is it called? Doing things for the community and how, she said she wanted to get big in terms of popular, right? But she also stayed humble and said that whatever she was doing at that time, she was doing it for the kids because backpack drive. Remember those days when she used to do that? Well, that inspired me to gather up another box and send her the information to the nonprofit because we already got the politicians in our pockets, people. We just have to put the call out and show them that we're serious. And I thought that maybe Latrese Allen could be the leader of the pack, being that she had a wonderful personality, personable. There's a difference between, I don't know, like, not only is she personable online, but she has leadership skills, right? And I took her for face value, thinking, right, listening to her, that she wanted to rock and roll the United States of America and shake it up. And with her personality, with a backbone in terms of the information that I was providing, if she wanted to consider partnering up with me as a country, not as an individual, a white one at that, but as a fucking country, then yeah, she probably would have made it, people. But for whatever reason, she got stuck on stupid, and it's all about me, 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 me. Okay. Those signs were kind of there in the beginning, because, you know, she was just starting out. She was testing the waters. She made a few mistakes. Well, I don't know about a few, but she made some mistakes along the way by involving her kids in content that wasn't necessarily age appropriate. But I don't want to say justified, because it's not about justifying something as it is about, in her mind, well, that's my reality. That's the reality of the people in my neighborhood. And that's the content that I'm going to talk about in terms of what's happening in other people's houses. Not necessarily my house, because I'm just the messenger. And the only way that she could provide that information to get people thinking and talking and moving towards change, better change at that, was to present it in video form. And unfortunately, she had to use her kids to do that in order to get attention to the subject matter, as it gained her attention. So, of course, people started accusing her of doing it for attention, when in fact, it's the environment that she comes from. And it's systemic, meaning it's in more than one house. So therefore, you know, it's not something that necessarily needs to be quote unquote punished, as it needs to be, you know, corrected in terms of, like, just setting new boundaries and getting the community with the dialogue open, so that change can happen within the inside, versus trying to change it on the outside and thinking that the problem just goes away, being that it's a systemic problem. Just like with violence in the community, you have one household over here where there's violence, you know, domestic violence. You've got another one over there where it's domestic violence, and so on and so on. And before you know it, nobody says anything about it, because everybody's doing it, right? And if you want to take it one step further, fast forward to 2022, now we're into societal violence, where we've got our politicians, the ones that are bought off and paid for, to divide us even more by saying, well, that individual doesn't qualify to go see the movie because they can't produce the right kind of papers. Like, what kind of shit is that? Right? So not only do we have now violence in the household, but we've got it at the fucking movie theater before you can go into the door. Which, in essence, makes the violence in the household more violent, because it becomes then displaced anger. Okay. So, anyway, you don't have to rush with these videos. I need another coffee for this, man. So, but in those days, so anyway, she was doing a fundraiser to go off and buy school supplies for children. That was her contribution for just being out there on the internet in terms of a community activist, I guess you could say. And because she portrayed herself to be that way, I wanted to help, even though I couldn't do very much. You know, I felt that with the foundation, considering everything and everybody that I'd already put that stuff out in the mail with, I thought I'd give her a fair chance to grab onto something that's already paid for And that opens up the whole fucking country for you. And not only does it open it up for you and your whole country, but you got all of Canada too. And I did that, people, without discrimination. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay? I didn't cast no stones from Canada all the way down to fucking Florida, right? I wasn't casting no judgment. Right? I wasn't trying to put her under my thumb. I was trying to open up her world, her country, her inner flame, you have personality, lady. You can go a long fucking way with that personality. A whole lot farther than I could ever go sitting up in freaking Canada all by myself being a targeted individual, okay? That's my history with Latrese. Right? So I'm like, okay, well, what can I do outside of just sending your paperwork? Right? And I'm a poor woman, people. I don't have that much. I really don't. I have a video on it. I'm going to walk you through these browsers and you can go fucking see it for yourself if you want. You know, but, you know, in those days, I was really working hard on those walnuts with Andre. And, you know, I still have, right? I still got a good stockpile, people. I just got to find the time to divvy it up and put it on a website and, you know, make it that niche, right? That niche market, right? So anyway, you know, I was in the height of doing all these walnuts and she was going to do her little, you know, backpack for the kids kind of thing and blah. And like, you know, and she's asking for donations and I'm like in my head and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, well, just definitely the paperwork, right? Because if there would have been no paperwork, people, I wouldn't have done it. Let's face it. Okay, come on. I mean, I obviously wanted something, right? You know what I'm saying? So okay. So, you know, and I gave her rave straps because you have to remember, I had already mailed out over $600 worth of costumes, beautiful little outfits that I had made to some, I can't even remember his name anymore, some guy in Ohio, because he wanted to start, what is that called? A music studio for the youth. And he came out of jail. He was, I guess, in jail for 20 years or something like that. And he got out and he was on, what was that guy's name? That newscaster, that black guy that had his own show. I don't know. He's probably still there, but okay. So anyway, I had already sent out like $600 worth of costumes to this dude so that he could auction them off, sell them. You can make a profit on them. Right? You know, and take that money and put it, because that was the only thing I could offer him, people, right? And take that money and invest it into your music studio for the kids in your neighborhood, because that's what he was fundraising for. Okay, that's what he was promoting. And of course, I gave him the information to my nonprofit too. The same fucking envelope with the same information, people. Okay? The one that Barack Obama has in his back pocket, just like Governor Rick Perry, just like Senator Frederica Wilson, just like the mayor of New Orleans at the time with Mitch Landrieu, right? And Billy Nunginger. Like, there's a whole lot of them in there, okay? And you know what he did? He got my costumes, people. And when I phoned him back up on the phone and say, okay, how's it going? The bastard in the end just stopped fucking answering his phone once he got what he wanted. Probably gave them to his girlfriends. Or he sold them and kept the money for himself. Okay, I'm going to provide you a link where you can find that video where I sent it out and you can see what some of those costumes actually look like. Well, I couldn't do that for Latrese this time because I'd already done it in Ohio and nothing really came out of it. But I wanted to give her something. And being that, you know, right, I didn't have much to give, I gave her a whole bunch of rave straps. And what they are is it's just simple spandex. You know, they're about this thick all the way down where women can take them and wrap them around their legs and the body and, you know, with their whatever, and because they're neon, if you go under black lights, they glow. And so when you're moving around dancing, it looks real sexy. I thought that was a good a good for women, to give away to women, right? Because I told her, I said, here's the information for the nonprofit. Here's, here's the, the rave straps. I think I gave her a couple of little just bikini underpieces, right? And I said, when you're out giving away the backpacks, right? It was just a simple request, people. I said, when you're out doing whatever you're doing at that little event, just give to the women that are helping you, to your volunteers, all right? Just give them a rave strap. What is that? What's a rave strap? You just wrap it around your body and go to the bar. Oh, okay. And then, so that, because I know what it feels like to be in a position where you're trying to do a community event, right? And you depend on volunteers and you have no way to pay them. And usually the volunteers are the poorest of the poor who need it the most. So even in a situation like that, even though you can't really pay them, it's nice to be able to give them something so that they feel appreciated. So those rave straps weren't for Latrese, they were for her volunteers. And it was the only thing that I could possibly think that was kind of generic, that would fit any size woman, first of all. Okay, because you have to remember, I normally sew for tiny, women, like size 8, size 10. My sewing range is usually between size 12 and size 8 US standard size, right? Because I deal with dancers, right? So, but when you're getting into the larger women, right, I don't have no skills for that, but I thought it was a safe bet to add in those rave straps, because they could just, run them up their leg, just make it sexy, right? That's what they're there for. That's why they glow under the lights, right? So anyway, and then I also gave her a couple of G hats. I gave her one each. I gave her one black one, and I gave her one white one. I gave her two. I gave her two to give to two kids in that group, as to whoever was getting a backpack. I didn't say, who to choose. I just said, give two kids a hat and tell them it came from Canada and that we care. That was basically the premise of it, people. Okay? And then, because she was having issues or whatever was going on, I gave her a whole bunch of black walnut. I gave her the actual black walnut so that you can drill a hole through it and make a mobile with wood, black walnut wood. Plus I gave her a little bit of black walnut ink powder, right? Because you can make ink and do art with it that can last 1,000 years, people. 1,000 years. You do the math on that one. And I thought that was a really unique gift that she could give to her son, Courtney, right? So that he could take his natural talents, if he was inclined to be an artist. And there are no rules to being an artist. There is no specific way how you have to draw a picture, right? It's just a matter of picking up the pen, or in this case, a feather with walnut ink, right? And that would maybe help their relationship in terms of just, I don't know. That's just what I did. Okay? I can't remember what else was in that box. That was probably the bulk of it, just those things. So anyway, I mailed it off to her. I put on Canadian stamps, big whales, okay? Because I like to promote stamp collecting, right? Especially if you're going to involve kids, right? So I put on a whole bunch of Canadian stamps. Long story short, it got to her, okay? And she was doing her live. I don't remember if it was on YouTube or if it was on Facebook, but I remember catching her live. And this is the days when she used to open up her packages. And she panned her camera, and I could see that my package had got there because I seen the whales, people. I seen them. And I'm like, I'm sitting here in Canada now, and she's in Florida. You do the math. That's 3,000 miles away. I'm taking a big chance on this woman, right? I'm praying to the good Lord that, you know, she'll find her way with it and be successful. Why would I want her to fail, people? Why? Right? So anyway, I see, and I'm like, okay, now she's going to open, and I'm waiting for her, and she's going through all these packages, right? Anyway, she gets to my package. I don't know. I can tell that she's opening it. And then she just basically ignored it, people. Right? It didn't make no reference, nothing. Right? And then some time went by. She was doing another live. And I made conversation on, you know, right? And I asked the question, right? How was it, right? And basically, people, she got real fucking snide in a nice kind of way where she said it stunk. And I know exactly what she was making reference to. The black walnut, because it has its own unique smell. And if you don't understand those types of trees, you wouldn't know, right? When I come into any kind of walnut smell, black walnut, English walnut, oh my God, I'm in fucking heaven because first of all, that's a great food source, right? And, you know, so it's not a tree that you really want to kill. You know what I'm saying? So you're either going to love it or you're either going to hate it. And you know what? After working with the black walnut, ever since I've lived in this house, I love it now. And the warrior tree is getting so big. Andre said, wouldn't it be funny, Mom, if the warrior tree gives us nuts this year coming up? And I'm saying, well, Andre, I don't think the warrior tree is going to do that yet because it usually takes about 10 years for a tree to produce a nut, and this one's only about five years old now, right? So we still got another 5 more years, but it would be amazing if we got a walnut on it this year. Okay, so needless to say, my feelings were hurt because you know stunk, right? Something somehow, you know, she just played it off like it was garbage. That's kind of the impression. So I left it. And then, you know, of course it's eating away at me though, right? So, you know, a couple months go by, maybe 3 or 4, I don't know. Okay. And then I bring up the subject again, right? I asked her where the hats were. What happened to the hats? Okay. Well, I understand the walnut, maybe you would, right, not see it as anything. But if your son would have learned how to mix the ink, and if he was drawing with it, whatever he was drawing would still be there on paper, okay? Or even writing for that matter. He didn't have to be drawing, it could have been writing. The point was to take the ink to the pen to write, okay? Or to draw. So that whatever troubles that was going on in their household was a little bit alleviated, because you know how they say it's always good to have a hobby because it eases the mind, right? So that was my thinking. That's why I singled out Courtney, only because he was, you know, going into that troubled teen age, to which I know all about because I had 5 kids myself, okay? Some of them are late bloomers, some of them are early bloomers, but sooner or later, they're all going to dig their heels into the ground and think that they know more than you could ever possibly know. And there will be some type of conflict in there. And sometimes, you know, it's hard to communicate with their kids. So I just thought maybe if she just said, here, this some woman from from Canada sent this to you. Go Google how to make black walnut ink powder and go draw a picture. You know, maybe that's all it would have taken. But I don't know if she did that, people. I don't even know if Courtney ever got it. I didn't push it. I could only trust that she gave it to him. Anyway, I wanted to know where these were. So off and on throughout the years, I asked. But there was a time, several years back, you know, time went by, 6, 7 months, whatever, came in again, you know, kind of made inquiries about the foundation. You've had enough time to read all that paperwork, right? You know what I'm saying? I didn't put no pressure on her. I didn't try to make her feel bad because, you know, she didn't like the gift. Right? You know, but I wanted to know if she'd help. And she said she would when she became rich, when she was a millionaire or something like that. That her mission was to be secure first in her own life before she would ever really help me with what I was trying to do. Okay, so time went by. I left it alone, people. I mean, she never did tell me what happened to them. And, you know, it wasn't like I wanted to scare her off or anything like that. You know, I mean, it's not, I'm asking for a lot. And when you think about it, I'm speaking on behalf of a whole country, and not only one, but two, because we're dealing with federal trademarks here, right? And so I didn't, you know, I just left it alone. Now, when I first started hearing about her, that was around the time when she ended up losing her kids for a while because of the original videos that she had up on YouTube, to which I seen them, okay? And I could understand why it would have been a concern in terms of how other people interpret things. I can also understand her reasoning behind what she did in light of the environments from where she comes from when we're talking about inner city environments where there's a high density like a high densified population with a lot of poverty, mayhem, dysfunction, because as soon as you have a lot of poverty, all those other things come in, and how things can jump from house to house to house to house, and then you bring in gang violence, and you know, so again, I never casted no judgments, people. Okay, she did what she had to do to turn things around, you know, whether, you know, I'm not there to analyze it to death, because that's then, this is now. Right? What's been going on? There was a period of time when I didn't even watch her for a while, because a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, you know, I probably tippy-toed and came back in and said something, and, you know, reminded her that I'm still kicking around, and, you know, I'm still kind of, I don't want to say waiting for help, but, and she, you know, it was the same mantra, you know, I haven't gotten rich yet. When I get, you know, in a better financial position, yeah, I'll talk to you. And then she just blew me off. Okay, but yet at the same time, over the years, what I've noticed is honestly, she read my paperwork. I can tell you that right now, because as soon as she got my paperwork, right, and because I wrote in different types of fundraising initiatives that we could do in there and blah, 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 legally, right, she started incorporating similar types of initiatives into her format with her videos. Okay, like when she was doing her online gambling, for example, right? She was bold and confident with that online gambling. And even then, you know, there was an issue at some point, I think, with taxes on it or something, in terms of getting the proper paperwork. Because before you can legally do any kind of gambling, you have to get licenses for it through your local state or province offices. Okay, it goes through the legislature, assembly, parliament. It goes through the parliament building office in order to get out, like a 1-year fundraiser, for example, where you're doing online this on this day. Everything has to be mapped out before you can even do it, and you have to submit it to get an approval, and then you can do it. She bypassed all that point and just started doing it. Okay, she was doing it so much that, in my opinion, she ended up taking it to private, and that's when she brought in her memberships, so that it was a little more private in terms of those types of gambling initiatives, when in fact she never went out of her way to ever make them legitimate by filling out the right paperwork. You see, that's where I came in. I came in with the paperwork where it would have given her the right to fill out that paperwork. And because it was a federal initiative, she would have, I don't want to say get more favoritism to have her proposals pushed through. But if she would have played her cards right, that's what would have happened, because the federal government would have only benefited to have people like, I don't want to say her, but her bringing in a stimulus within the economy where money could be injected into areas that need development, whether that's family counseling, whether that's food basket initiatives, whether that's housing, kids program, whatever it was, okay? But she took it upon herself just to read what I wrote and then take those things that she thought she could do without legitimizing them through proper paperwork. She incorporated them into her content, and then she started going on with this new donations, September, November, December, new donations. And I'm like, you fucking little fucking bitch. New nations all across the continent. Do you hear it? I can hear it. So every time she says that, it's like this for me. Boom, boom, boom. Because she's a hustler. Right? You see, but I like that about her, though. That was the thing. That's the spark that was under the feet that would have had her go right across the fucking nation and rock it to its core, because she was personable enough on the internet to make it happen. That was my belief in her. But I don't know. I don't want to say too much because I don't live in the inner cities of the United States of America. So I don't quite understand the pressure. Okay? But I do to this day. I really want to know people, because I'll always wonder who got the G Kids hats. Who got them? Huh? Did she give them to her own kids? Did she throw them in the garbage? Did she just give them to somebody else and they never bothered to say thank you? Are they sitting in a box? Maybe they're sitting in the box with those whales. What do you think? Like, where are they? Do you know how much money these hats could have made in the United States of America alone with the right kind of leadership for the kids? That is the purpose of those hats. A purpose that is going out the fucking window. Because of stupidity. Down and out stupidity, people. And then, of course, we've got the Mayor X hat. Okay? Many ways to dress up this hat, people. I just don't have the energy for it. Okay. So, that's my history with Latrese. Now, this video is going on too long. I am going to put this up on YouTube because this is related to YouTube. If there would have been no YouTube, I probably would have never ran into Latrese Allen. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself another coffee here. And I'm going to come back and then I'm going to walk you through these browsers. Right? And I'm going to, I've been like, just every now and then, it depends. A year could go by and I'll go, what's going on with Latrese? Right? And then, right now she's in some kind of, I don't know, You see, I'm suspicious about these black women up on YouTube having their little in-house fights, because what it does is it generates views for them on both sides of the fence, right? We already went through that with Rita Shits Don't Stink or something like that. Rita, you know Rita, right? Okay, you've heard of Rita, right? Something like that. Anyway, same kind of scenario. This is beyond the beef sector. So I'm not watching every day. So, you know, how much truth to what's going on in current times, I don't know. But I guess there was some woman, I think she's dead now. I'm trying to figure out the story. Keisha T. I think somehow Keisha T got involved somehow, some way. There's a whole bunch of kerfuffle going on with Latrese. Right? They're having, you know, cat fights between themselves. I think Keisha T died. I think. I'm not 100% sure yet. But everybody's got her on a memorial right now, despite using her as a means to continue fighting among themselves for a common denominator of that they're doing it for the kids' sake. For the kids' sake. Well, you know, I take that with a grain of salt, because money makes change. And without money, no matter how good your intentions are or how much you fucking talk, you're not going to get very far with it. Okay? And for all these, I don't want to say clout chasers, but, you know, these bigger YouTubers that like to kind of maintain on their status quo, I don't see too much change coming from all this chatter, people. I don't. Because I'm the one that actually can produce a product to make that money, so that whatever it is that these people are talking about and how they want to change it so bad, well, it can actually be accomplished once you get the fucking money. But you don't get the money unless you work for it, right? Anyway, so, you know, I'm like listening, and I'm okay, and then of course, you know, you've seen that little part where I'm in the dark in the kitchen chopping up Amari's food, and, you know, and I'm like, whatever, I'm trying to just be brave, and, you know, and hold down the fort, and just be grateful that I got a dark kitchen to be doing anything in at this point, and that it's nothing I can't fix, and it's just a matter of time before I fix it, and, you know, and then I'm like, well, this, what I'm doing, you know, I should be able, you know, like, you know, like these women, they think they got problems. This is what I'm thinking, right? They think they got problems. Well, what about my problems? I can't even put my daughter's videos up on her own fucking YouTube channel because we've got Julian's sister in the background hijacking them. Right? As YouTube promotes freaking scandalizing me still, even after all this time, people. And I'm going to show you. Right? So it's just one big rigmarole. Whatever Julian's sister was trying to do, she was hoping it would have gone to this level in terms of this in-house fighting with Latrese and all these other women that are going on about, I don't know, I haven't quite put my finger on it, other than they're doing it for the kids. Well, what happens when those kids are okay? What about those kids over there? What about those kids over there? What about those kids over in the next fucking state? Okay, it doesn't even have to be down the next block. What about the next city? What about the next fucking state? What about those kids? You know, that's not helping those kids. That's not doing anything for those kids. Okay? And Latrese Allen is sitting on something that could. And that's what pisses me off, because she still won't tell me where those freaking fucking hats are. Who has them? I want to know who has them. And drop it with this, new donations! New donations! Because the only reason she's doing that shit is because she read what I wrote. And she knows it. So, for all the hustling, it didn't get her anywhere. And if it does, it's not no place I would want to be, people. I'm asking myself, okay, well, she's rich now. Clearly, she's going around talking about it. Right? And I'm like, well, do you think she'll help me now after all this time? It's been how many years? I don't even know when I made that video. We'll go see. Okay? You think she's going to help me now after all this fucking time with all this drama going on in her freaking life? As everybody's going on about how they want to freaking help kids? Only one batch, though. You know, to hell with the rest of them. We'll deal with them later. Yeah, okay. We'll see about that. None of them talk about food insecurity. None of them talk about food shortages in their neighborhoods. Right? None of them talk about the housing crises in real terms, in how it really fucking happens, and why, and what the end result is in terms of illegal organ harvesting after we die off as we be replaced with other individuals that come to our country that really shouldn't be here. They don't talk about any of that stuff. So, why would they want to help me? They're not concerned about that kind of stuff. And neither is YouTube. Because YouTube likes to keep Julian's sister up at the fucking top in the search engine with her nonsense, right? To distract away from things that are important, like what was inside that fucking envelope. So that people can actually be self-empowered and have a better quality of life, right? Not feel so alone, right? Be able to have the resources to accomplish things in a timely manner and to be creative and move forward and expand on, right? So this is why I say I don't know if I'm going to carry on with this nonprofit anymore, people, because you just can't fucking find anybody to help you with it. Really. And when the ones that want to, they're not capable of doing much on their own. They can put the word out, they can put the call out, but, you know, everybody has a role to play. And the ones that could have made a difference, I don't know. So anyway, let me go make my coffee and finish this video and then just upload it, I guess. Okay, my water's boiling. I want to get on with this. Do you see? Here we go. In 2017, where's my finger? Here it is. 2017, going to Ohio. That was to that fella that wanted to start. That's all my outfits, $600 worth of shit, people. Okay, I took a chance on somebody, and he just stopped answering his phone. After he got what he wanted, he realized what he got excited, and then he just fucking didn't answer his phone. And those all disappeared. I'd like to know where they went to, too. Okay? All right? And then, going to Florida. This is the stuff. See? Remember I told you? 2 hats. What happened to those G Kids hats? I want to know. Right? And remember I told you I was thinking of her son because she was having, you know, that parent-teen conflict situation going on. And I thought that would help with their relationship. Because it would give her son a means to vent, whether through writing or whether through drawing, okay? I never told him what to write, and I never told him what to draw. I just said, give it to him, right? And that was it. All right. This video here is when Tisha was 18 years old, and I asked her to model some of my outfits for me, and she wanted to do that, so it was okay, but YouTube put it under age restriction. All right? To which, that was when? That was in 2016. We're in 2022 now, and now Tisha has started her own little company, lingerie and women's clothing and that kind of stuff. So, needless to say, being who I am, and what I can do. Okay? I made that, people. I'm going to help her with it. So I'm trying really hard. These are some of these costumes that are being shown here. Like this dress, I still have. Where am I? Here we go. This dress, I still have. So we're going to be putting it up online for sale. All right? Okay? Where is that dress? Where's that dress? Is that the dress? Yeah. You see that dress? That dress is going up for sale. Yeah. I still have that dress. Isn't that a beautiful dress? It's made with pleather. Mm-hmm. Okay? So I'm going to help Tisha now because she wants to start her own company. Okay? So it's just a matter of getting them up online. They're going to go under as consignment. We're gonna work out a system where we can consign things. And I'm going to try and get back into sewing, people. I'm going to try. All right. So, what am I doing here? You have to remember I'm blind, so it's a little hard for me to see. Okay. Right? So, this one here is directly related to Latrese. Do you see the paperwork? Do you see that paperwork? Do you see that envelope? That's the same paperwork that I sent to all those high players in our parliament buildings in the United States of America and church congregations. Okay?
So today is July 26th.
Now, I can understand a politician not trying to be the one leading the way because they're politicians. Same thing with a church, because usually when you approach a church or an organization like NCP, right? Before they'd help you with your mission, it's always their mission first, and even then, it's their mission. Okay, it's almost like you have to give up your life just to join their mission. So, in this situation, Latrese was a little more flexible. She could do anything she basically wanted if she just wanted to take the blueprint and make it happen.
2017. This stuff is going to Florida. That's how I'm starting my day. I'm getting a small box together. I'll show you. Obviously, my printer is broken.
See? Always problems.
Told the lady who I'm sending this to, I couldn't send her any information because I couldn't photocopy, right?
I was just going to send her some stuff for the kids, just a fundraiser, whatever she was going to do, you know, right?
But as it turns out, people,
You can hear how tired I am.
Brain is slow today. I'm tired, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have an extra copy here because of the board director. I gave it to him, and he gave me back the briefcase, right? Because he went through it. Anyway, you can see what's going on here. So, she gets all the information.
See?
Right?
Agreements.
Which is good, because
those are legal contracts with the foundation.
Hold on a minute.
I was asking for $3 a year, people. Okay, you do the math. Hold on a minute. Okay, so we'll get on with finishing this video. I gotta get on with my day here. So basically,
and then all this stuff.
Right. Let's see if we can just move forward on this. Of course, nothing's moving now, right? Look at that. No.
Anyway, or two. before I hit the fan. And I'm kind of shaky, right? Because I'm kind of tired, people. Like,
This is what
a state
YouTube does to
level,
my channel.
just like on a provincial level,
Shadow
where
banning.
30%
Right? Do you see what's going on? They do this to my videos,
to
people.
help maintain.
Yeah, they do it on purpose. That's just another form of shadow banning.
Yes.
It pisses people off, right? Why? Why my channel, huh? Why?
Now,
Why?
whether these people down there in Florida.
Yeah, there we go. Do you see? There's the rave straps. Okay?
And then we've got 2 do-rags.
I sent do-rags out. Who got the do-rags? Huh? Who got the do-rags, people? I'd like to know. Let's see what else is in there. I'm curious.
That they're providing to people and or
What am I talking about?
creating jobs, promoting local in-house programs, in addition to building in safety nets for our already established state programs.
Don't I already sound like a broken
right,
record?
That are, in
Like, seriously,
existence
man.
Today, and either need to be maintained on their budget.
Didn't I just
to
say
continue
that?
giving the service that they're providing.
So my agenda hasn't
people
changed.
And or
Look at
to,
the
add extra
title I put
income
on it.
into the budget so that they can get better at what they do, because at the end of the day, the worker, you know, they need the support of the community just as much as the recipients to those services need, right? And I can give you an example on that, you know, but I don't want to draw this out too long. So anyway, and then I'm going to send.
What am I going to send?
Doing an after-school event, or a back-to-school.
Yeah, back-to-school event.
So we got 2 hats for the kids.
Yeah.
Right? The originals from Mama Lynn.
Yep.
Right? Because our foundation cares. We care about the kids across the continent.
Do you know how stupid I feel?
It. Right? Andre, please. And then we've got 2 do-rags. I went back to the store and I got them.
See, this is where the corporation and those kind of individuals and just whatever.
Look, for the men,
those are nice.
That are going to help.
Those are nice people. Those are nice do-rags.
Thank you.
I still have fabric like that. I plan on making some, probably getting them up on Tisha's website. Only I got something else in mind. You haven't seen it yet. Wait until you see it. You'll like it.
Being out there, Andre, stop wiggling around in there. For the men that are helping her.
So I wasn't only thinking about the women, but I was thinking about the men that were helping her, because that was for her volunteers to help her do that back to school thing. Okay? Right? The ones that weren't getting paid, but at the end of the day, she could have just said, here's a do-rag, came from Canada, her name's Mama Lynn, and, you know, she just wanted to say, here's a shout-out, right? You know, it would have been that simple, people. What did she do with those do-rags? I'd like to know. I think I have a right to know after all these years.
With this, because, you know, it takes effort, right? And then I'm sure she'll have a couple of women out there.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to really give to the women right now, but
it's not like I get any time to sew, and I already gave out a whole bunch of shit, so, you know, and I was dealing with different size women, so I wanted just to be kind of make it generic. So the only thing that I could think of would be rave straps. Because anybody can wear a rave strap.
I thought I'd throw in some club gear.
Club gear, okay. I called them club gear.
Three rave straps, because they're already made.
They're already made, so it's not like I had to, because I sent out to Ohio, I'm pretty sure, some of those things too.
Right, for dancing. After hours, when they're done. Right. Now, whether these people down there in Florida would do, you know, I don't know. They can wear an outfit and just wrap it around their body. These are nice, right? So I'm going to send those. And then I'm going to send some black walnut powder for the lady, for her son.
For her son.
Right. To tap into his creative self, whether it's drawing or writing or whatever it is. Just because You know, it's just something I want to do.
I didn't want to get into whatever they were going through as parent-teen conflict. You know, I wasn't into gossiping about Latrese Allen. I wasn't into trying to call out her name to draw attention. If you notice, I don't really even draw out her name. I just say I'm sending it to Florida. You know, it's going to a woman that's doing a back-to-school drive for the kids in the neighborhood. She needs backpacks. She needs moral support, blah, 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 right? You know, I wasn't trying to piggyback off her name because, you know, at that time she was, I guess you could say more popular than I was. Not that I've ever been popular, because I haven't been, because YouTube likes to shadow ban my channel, and I don't necessarily fit in with the demographics of the community, whether it's in the real world in terms of going out into my local Punjabi community as if I look Punjabi and fit in. You get my point, right? Or whether it's I'm on YouTube and I'm more, hanging out with the black women, okay, in terms of in that community, right? I myself don't necessarily fit in, right?
All the information.
Especially when you put 3,000 miles between us. But you see, I work, and I did work on a legitimate foundation that had huge potential with the right leadership. I wasn't trying to be the leader. I was looking for a leader, people.
Hallelujah.
And that's probably why intuitively I set my dominoes in place throughout the legislature aspect of it, in terms of with the politicians and those types of people, because if the local people can come together and be community activists for a federal agenda, that's when you're going to attract your local politicians and federal politicians to jump on the bandwagon to take it to the next level. So I chose to put my dominoes first in place with the politicians before I did with the community activists. And then when I went out and I tried to approach online community activists that were basically hustlers, because, a hustler can get the job done, that's just the way it worked.
Because the board director did give me back this briefcase, and as I'm looking in this briefcase, I actually see another one of those things, right? And I'm going to leave everything in the briefcase, because this is the stuff that's going to go in front of the judge. And I've got other
still
things
talking on about Uncle John,
room.
I guess, in those days, right?
2 times.
Oh,
I'm
where
pretty
is
sure
this?
it's 2 times.
Where's this video
to
playing?
the Minister of Health. Minister of Housing in those days was Rich Coleman, obviously Rich Coleman, Minister of Health, Minister of Housing and Social Development. It was Rich Coleman.
Okay, exit out of there. So, and then here, I'll just leave the link. See? Do you see what YouTube does? So, when that shit happens...
Okay, same day. I haven't gone
people are so
yet.
impatient. People are so impatient.
Wrapping this up in my youngest daughter,
they don't
Tisha,
want
is
to
put it in the mail.
They don't want to what is it called? Stick around and listen to the video. Now, this is something that Andre and I made. I still have them hanging above my kitchen table on my antler ears. And I still have a whole bunch of these all nicely shined up and pre-packaged in little bags downstairs in a box in a little storage area that I have. This was just an idea to build in a local community craft project that could be used as a means to either reward people for making a donation or just whatever, because they're like little lucky charms, only these are horse chestnuts, okay? So, it's like wish upon a star, that kind of stuff, right? And it's something that could be made by young people and then taken out into the community as a form of a fundraiser. Okay, that was and I chose these because you can find these things for free. If you find them, they're free. Nobody wants them for the most part in their original state. But if you take them as a raw resource and turn them into something, right? So in my mind, I see her out in the community doing all this stuff with the families, right? And then, you know, after it's pretty much all said and done, she gave away the hats, she gave away the rave straps, she gave club gear, she gave away the do-rags, I forgot about those, right? And then there's still people standing around wanting a little something. It's not so much what you give them, it's the fact that you gave them something. You know, it's the thought that counts. That's what this was, right? So if you gave out those things and whatever else that was included in that box, and there was still a few people lingering around feeling left out, you could have just simply handed them a lucky charm and wished them a blessed day. And they would have walked away, you know, feeling that, putting it wherever, hang it someplace, and who knows, you know, maybe it would have brought them luck. We don't know. What did she do with them, people? Are they still sitting in the original box? Did she throw them out? I don't know. But because it's a natural product that comes from a tree, of course it's going to have its own smell, just like with black walnut, right? Black walnut tends to go a little more like towards a licorice smell, but not in the traditional sense as you would know licorice to be in terms of how it would smell, right? Horse chestnuts have their own smell, but outside of a little event, after you all said and done, and you know, here, take, God bless you. That's all it was about. And it could have been developed upon where you could have had a youth program, actually, I don't want to say manufacturing, but manufacturing them for the next event for little to no cost when it came to raw resources with the horse chestnut.
Because she's got to go to work in a little while. So I want to pack this up, and she's going to put it in the mail for me. So anyway, this is what's going. 40 Lucky Charms.
40 Lucky Charms. There you go. She got 40 Lucky Charms. What did she do with 40 Lucky Charms? I forgot about this, people. Seriously, this was when 2017. Okay? Hold on a minute. Do you see? These are my antler ears, okay? Look, they're dusty. They just need to be dusted off, people. Some of them have Canadian pennies on them. Look. Look at this. You know, these things have been sitting here pretty much from, I guess, 2017. These straps are leather. These ones are actual leather, okay? Look how nice they shine up, people, even after all these years. Look at this. Okay? Talk about a durable product. Okay? Right? This is what I was hoping she could develop down there to generate a little bit of money, or at least reward the volunteers that were helping. You know? A small bag of rice, when you have no rice, is better than no rice. I'd rather have a little bit of luck than no luck, okay? Right? So you can't say that I'm sending her garbage when I've got this garbage hanging over my kitchen table, for crying out loud. And it's not only hanging over my kitchen table, but it's been hanging here for how many years? A lot of years, people. Look how shiny this one is. Look. After all this time. The penny in Canada is obsolete. So, there is no shame to my game. Yeah. I love these. When I get time, all those ones that I have downstairs all nicely oiled and shined up that have been sitting there in a box, 10 to a bag. Oh boy. I'll probably do this. Yeah. I wish I could get back out in the community, people, and do the things I used to do. Look, here's these ones. And then I took some, do you see? I took some and I put beads with them. I forgot about these. I didn't even know those were hanging there. And see, that's how my eyes are going on me. Look how nice these are. Can you see? Hey, so this was no joke for me.
I wiped him down with a
Okay?
little bit of
I don't fake the funk here, people. I don't.
coconut oil. Right? That's for the back to school event. Mm-hmm. Right?
And I wasn't trying to use her name because, as you know, right? She didn't like that. She didn't like that when people used her name to try and get attention for themselves. And, you know, I wasn't trying to put her on the spot. So I was kind of walking around the issue of who she really was versus what she was doing and why she was doing it and why I was approaching her so that she could be better at what she did. If she wanted to take it to the next level, which would have been national and then intercontinental, okay? But I guess it was just too big for her to fucking wrap her head around it. Other than, new donation! New donation! September, October, November, December! I'm already like that.
Here's this information.
Then I gave her like, and not everybody likes to read, so I put it in fucking block form, okay? To show her how the foundation as a whole interconnected from province to province, from state to state, from country to country. With all the right key players in place. With the dominoes already established in the political arena. In my mind, that's what I was thinking.
Here, I found a copy of the Constitution, and then I'm going to give her a copy of my most recent income statement in terms of 2014, because that's the last time I've done any kind of anything.
Oh, yeah, I'm behind on that, people. I got the bank coming up here with HSBC in April to do something with those accounts because they're going dormant, and once they go dormant, then they charge me a fee. And there's hardly any money because everything's just on lockdown. Okay? It got real bad when they medically kidnapped Uncle John and everything just went on lockdown.
Right? Just so she can see long term what she...
And the one board director that I have that I thought would make a fucking difference, I don't know. I just don't understand him. I really don't. He says he's going to do things, doesn't do it. But then on the other hand, go into my channel, look at all the drama, all the death, all the pain, all the injury, all the hurt, all this, all. And no wonder why he's having a hard time participating. You know, I mean, if you want to justify it in terms of, well, it's kind of hard for me to get involved because you got all this murder around you, or legal organ harvesting, or medical kidnappings, or, you know, just going on about this and going on about that. And like, when does it ever quit? Well, I don't know. Maybe I'd like it to fucking quit, but when you're a targeted individual, it just doesn't happen. You know, it goes in cycles. That's why I fight the way I fight. I just didn't know I would have to face the fight myself in terms of be a part of the, you know, what people go through. When I started the foundation, people, I wasn't going through any of this crap that I've been going through for the last 10 fucking years of my life. Let's just say it that way.
She's going to be helping to develop if she chooses to help me. So in the meantime,
see,
we've got
developed. I even showed her a way and how to set up proper fucking bank accounts around this situation. Right? So that she could see for herself, that's the way. It doesn't have to be exactly that way, but I'm giving you a blueprint so that you can, you know, expand on, right? Take it to the next level, being that you're out there doing backpack events with children and families, and you come from the inner city who have the least resources, people, and are completely dependent on their local politicians to do the right thing, to which in 2022, many of them just don't. So more reason to come together and stand up and do something, but instead, no. It goes back to Rita and her shit.
the do-rags. Oh, sorry.
The hats.
They're in the bag.
Yeah.
2 of them. And the 3 rave straps.
Okay.
The 2 hats, the 2 G Kids hats. And then I said I was going to send her son, who I think is about 13 years old.
Yeah. just coming into parent-teen conflict. Oh boy, do I ever know what that means.
Some black walnut ink. Here's an extra couple, right, for somebody else. And it's powdered, right? It's art supplies. And then, and I can do this. I've already cleared it with customs.
Yeah, I even went as far as clear it with customs to make sure that I could do it. And you know how it went through? Under art supplies, people. That's how I listed it.
I've already sent one package out to Ohio. And plus I gave that young man up in, where was it? Powell River or someplace, with the cell phone, with the dad, a box full too, right? He was a young man as well. So anyway, these are, you know, he needs to know what he's working with. Like I said, Andre's starting a walnut grove. One day he'll have a walnut.
I got a lot of walnut trees in my yard, people. I got to do something with them this year.
Walnut grove. So the more people we can encourage to love the walnuts, the black walnuts, and the English walnuts, and want to plant groves themselves and utilize the natural resources that come from these trees.
So what I'm going to do here now is I am just going to provide the link through my website that currently is still working, because I'm still working on the non-profit, I guess you could say. Now, this is kind of through the back door, because if you don't know what to Google in terms of the address, because when I added it into my page, like when I made a page, because I'm the only one that does the HTML on this, I made a page, and I only linked it in from minutes. I'll show you. See, it comes in here. This is the only place you can find it. Right here, do you see? And then it takes you to the page. Okay? So I'll just provide the link, and you can go see those if you want. Alright, they're there. Okay. So we're going to exit out of that for now. Alright. Now, we're going to bring you here. Okay? You see Tasty Bonnie. Okay? This is Julian's sister, who, I don't know, who wanted to take whatever is going on with what happened to ShaMay to the next level and bring it to YouTube and turn it into a YouTube war. So she basically went out of her way to do that. But here's the thing. I'm trying to end this video like now. This is ShaMay's page. It took me a little while to be able to get ShaMay's password, because, and it was only by chance that I came across it, okay? And even then, it took about 6, 7, 8 months, I can't remember exactly, for me to find it after she died, okay? So, this ShaMay opened up herself. This is her ultrasound that she had with Amari. Okay? And she never posted it again on there. Because you have to remember, Amari died. ShaMay died when Amari was 7 months old. Okay? So, eventually I came across her password, and I uploaded a little video a year ago. I uploaded another little video a year ago. And then 9 months ago, I uploaded this video. Okay? And not even within 24 hours. Oh my Lord, I have to get a new mouse. And not even within...
Happy 7 months to you.
And not even within 24 hours.
7 months, Amari.
Okay?
Happy 7 months, my baby.
If you knew.
Okay, I don't know why it's like that.
Happy 7 months to
I don't know what YouTube has done here.
Happy 7 months, Amari. Happy 7 months, my baby. Happy 7 months to
here we go.
you.
Okay, right? This was done on a Saturday, people, at Julian's mother's house. ShaMay was dead by Wednesday morning, by 9 o'clock in the morning. She was with Tisha at 7 o'clock in the morning, talking with Tisha for an hour when Tisha came in, and then went into the living room to lay down to get some rest because she was up all night looking after Amari with his first cold. I told ShaMay, if you really need me, you can come get me. But other than that, right, your mom, he's fussy, right? So she went downstairs, but you see, the thing is, nobody knew that her smokes were laced with medical fentanyl. We knew she wasn't feeling very well, right? But we didn't know she was being poisoned to death. And because I sent her down, but the thing is, if I would have left her upstairs and she would have smoked a smoke when I was in bed sleeping, I could have gotten up in the morning and found her dead on the couch with Amari in her arms. Okay? Versus sending her down, telling her, your mom, you can deal with it. That's how you learn how to be a mom, right? You got a baby with a cold. You figure it out. If you really need me, I'm just upstairs. She went downstairs. She did whatever. She did everything she was supposed to do. She even did a Snapchat at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's because Julian was calling her, right? Saying, my mom's house got robbed and I got no place to go and can I come over? And she says, okay. And by 6:30, she's in ShaMay's and Tisha's room now because I'm running around because I didn't even sleep very long, even though I said I wanted to sleep. But for whatever reason, I was up at 5:30 in the morning doing a fucking video. And by 6:30, I was converting it over. And that's where at 6:30 in the morning, I heard ShaMay singing in Tisha's room, wondering why she was in Tisha's room singing. But she was singing, so she didn't sound like she was under duress. So be it. Then by 7 in the morning, Tisha showed up. Then I hear the girls talking in the bedroom. And then by 9 o'clock in the morning, I don't know, by 10 o'clock in the morning, Julian's running up the stairs saying, come downstairs, come downstairs. I'm thinking it's Amari, when in fact it's ShaMay laying dead a doornail on the fucking couch. There's only so many places ShaMay went in order to get her smokes laced with medical fentanyl. ShaMay was at Julian's mother's house. Both Julian and his sister lived with their mother at that time. Julian was not there that day because if he would have been there that day, he would be in these pictures because there's more than one. Anyway, whatever. I like it. I put it up on ShaMay's page.
If you knew.
Happy 7 months to you.
I put it up on ShaMay's page. It won't go back. I put it up on ShaMay's page. Look who fucking shows up. Why, people? Why? 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 Huh? Why? I put it up on ShaMay's page. This one. Then this one. Not even within 24 hours. Comes in. And, where is it? Right here. and posts a little video takes out ShaMay's voice and puts in some Spanish person singing something. Okay? Right? See? You hear it? Okay? It's the same video that she took because she creeps everything that I do on the internet, so much so that she tries to get everybody in the fucking neighborhood involved, and they just roll their eyes at her thinking she's crazy. Okay? As she calls me crazy. And this is exactly why I can't put anything up on ShaMay's page, people. Because YouTube and Google allow it to happen. Because as soon as you Google New Nations Unity and you go into videos, what do you find? All hers. These are hers. Tasty Bonnie. Tasty Bonnie. Tasty Bonnie. That's me that she's mocking. Tasty Bonnie. Oh, there's ShaMay's when we did a park event. Tasty Bonnie. Tasty Bonnie. Okay? If YouTube's still not trying to shadow ban my channel, I don't know what is. Tasty Bonnie. Why? Because she uses federal trademarks, more than one, 2 of them, right? To import herself into a victim position, accuse me of kidnapping my own grandson, as she suggests I murdered ShaMay for Amari to get money. Okay. Okay, people. Right? I'm trying to plug in my... Hold on a minute. Anyway, it goes like that, all the way down. Okay? So where's the justice for ShaMay here, people? Google justice for ShaMay, and what do we find? We find the petition, which continues to grow. I really need to do a follow-up, but, you know, I've been dealing with trying to make sure that there's food in the house, no matter what's going on. Okay? This one here, Truth for Reality, did. The point is, people, if I take something of ShaMay's and I put it up on her page, and it, you know, has, we know what's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. This one here, my older son opened this page long time ago. And 13 years ago. And ShaMay forgot the password. And she was going to try and get a new password. But she died before that happened. You can see these were all posted 13 years ago. Right? This is when I was doing park events, people. And then my son did this. This is bootlegging New Nations Unity, kind of like what Julian's sister is doing. Right? So in the meantime, let's get back to how this all started around this. So with these beefs on the internet, whether it's Rita's got shit or Latrese with whatever's going on with her life, okay, as if anyone cares anymore, hint, hint, you know, but it could be just a charade to draw more attention to get these views, right? You know, negativity brings in views. Well, I'm not sure if this woman here, Keisha T, is alive or not alive, because I'm trying to figure things out. This is somebody else posting over whatever, but she going on talking about Latrese, and there seems to be like quite a few of these around, right? So, how is this relevant to anything? I don't know, people. I don't know. Other than I just don't know if I'm going to work on the nonprofit for much longer, because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And people are being conditioned to live in a freaking desert with drought. They're getting used to without water. They think it's normal. And when they get water, they don't care if it's dirty or not, because, you know, between just the social abuse that goes on in communities in general from our local leaders and politicians and that kind of thing, to our federal leaders, and just I don't know. I think whatever I was trying to do or say, the lie detective test results, right? 23K. Stop lying, baby. Let me tell what really went down. Okay, so I don't know what I'm trying to do here, other than I don't know how much of a future I have on YouTube. I really don't. After all these years, making all these attempts, being mistreated still by the corporation. Obviously, you know, they're shadow banning still. They're promoting Julian's sister. They're allowing her to infringe. Don't think I didn't send him the proper paperwork and everything to confirm what I was saying in terms of I'm the owner of these trademarks and I'm requesting that you take this stuff down because blah, blah, blah. And they just completely ignore it, people. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. You know, that's fine. So anytime she come up with her shit, I'm right up on it and I'm giving my side of the story. And it's just the fact that I'm in the dark. How about we end it on this? I'm in the dark in my fucking kitchen with a little bulb beside me, chopping up Amari's food. Okay, thinking about how I can separate that whole concept, stay focused on the subject, right? So that I can put it someplace without it being hijacked by a freaking fucking troll that thinks that, I don't know what they're thinking other than they're useless to the planet as far as I'm concerned. And that what comes around goes around, because I honestly do believe that Julian didn't murder ShaMay by himself. He had help, people. But I'm still being held hostage by YouTube and their fucking bad business practices. Because doing those kind of videos with the food, you know, trying to make the safe YouTube video, but not for fucking YouTube. Do it for the caregiver after I'm dead and gone, because the caregiver is going to be like, okay, it's kind of written down how you do it, but, you know, I'd like to see it. Because Tisha's not here that much, so it would even be good for Tisha, people. Because sooner or later, somebody else is going to have to prepare Amari's food, and it shouldn't resort down to a freaking feeding tube or using those drinks. When you can simply do what I've been doing, whether it's in the light or in the dark. But it's the fact that if I do a video like that, then put it up on ShaMay's page, well, I don't know what's coming with Julian's sister. Because all she has to do is slap on New Nations Unity, Justice for ShaMay, to corrupt it all, people, to corrupt it. And if I try and bring in a few videos of ShaMay, because she's got several of them, people, that I'd love to just, you know, a little memorial or something. But I can't, because I showed you what she does. And before you'll get my video or ShaMay's video, you're going to get this girl's video, because that's what YouTube does. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, whatever is in that paperwork, new donations, is threatening to them. So therefore, by default, Latrese becomes a puppet to them. She's nothing more than a puppet on a fucking string to keep the status quo, which is all those bitches getting deeper and deeper and deeper into poverty. And it's a fight that I just don't want to be involved in with that much anymore, because I'm freaking 60 years old and I'm tired. Not only am I broke, but I'm tired. But I'm torn, people. I'm still torn. You can't change a leopard's spots. In other words, if you're a good person and you do things for the right reasons, you will always remain to be a good person, and you will always do things for the right reasons. But if you're a fucking doctor that stands there with two-face and likes to rip out organs and sell them off on the black market so that you can get fucking rich and drive your vehicle in the neighborhood and do your little pissing contests with your boys as to who's better and who has more. Do you honestly think a person like that could ever be converted into being a good person? Yeah, okay. From one extreme to the other extreme. But of course, that's a subject that they wouldn't talk about in terms of illegal organ harvesting, because it hits too close to fucking home. That's why. And when they do, it's only them that are the victims and not people like my family, because we don't fit that demographic freaking what is right in the hood. Right? So anyway, that's the end of this video.